What's up, YouTube? TCB here, with a ban list discussion for you guys. I'm gonna try and do all this in one take, so I do apologize for any mistakes. Now, the limited and forbidden list has been out for, it's almost a week now, so we all know what cards are going to 1, going to 0, or now at 3, but I wanted to go over that with you and kind of discuss what I feel the new meta will be, as well as what decks you're gonna play. There was only one change in terms of things getting forbidden, and of course that is super polymerization. Now, this card is very reasonable to be banned. You know, you fusion summon with your opponent's monsters during their turn by discarding a card, and they can't respond to it. It's a bit unfair. I do see the reason why that card needed to be banned. Now, it was really Shadows that brought that card to light. I know that Heroes was the original reason why it got put down to 1, because in Heroes, you know, your hero plus whatever attribute your opponent's monster would pretty much make a hero fusion monster. So that brought it down to 1. But then Shadows, you know, it was just a win more card. It wasn't necessary for the deck to operate, but it was just another aspect to the deck that was a bit unfair. So I can really see and understand this card being banned. I thought it was pretty funny, however, how people were like, oh, Shadows are no longer good. This card goes to 0, and it's the only reason why Shadows were decent. I strongly disagree with that. I still think that Shadows are going to be part of the big 3. I don't know how many of you intend on playing Shadows for the new format, as it's a very thought-heavy deck. You have to make sure that all of your plays are good. But I do not think that Super Poly being put to 0 will affect Shadows at all. In terms of things that went to 1, Artifact Moral Talk. I really don't understand it, because I mean, you know, the heyday of the hat decks, you know, hand to artifact trap tricks, you know, that deck ruled for quite a while, and I think a format passed in which they could have banned it, they could have put things at 1, but now that it's done absolutely nothing to the format, now they decide to put it. All they did was really ruin, like, rogue deck that want to put the artifact engine. All it did was ruin rogue decks, pretty much. So I don't really understand the reason why Artifact Moral Attack went to 1. There was no need for it. You know, it wasn't an issue. However, I would like to complain about the fact that all of the decks that are an issue, none of it got hit. I mean, especially Burning Abyss. None of the cards of Burning Abyss got hit at all. And I don't understand this logic. It is as if Konami really does use the ban list solely for the purpose of profit. Because, I mean, new Burning Abyss, new Cliffort, and new Shadow cards are coming out. So they're like, well, we can't ban all this because then no one will want to buy the new set because they won't be able to use the new cards. And it's just not the right way to do the ban list. So yeah, Artifact Moral Talk went to 1. What else? I got the list right here. What else went to 1? Ah, yes, Dark Strike Fighter. This card is going to do no impact to the format. It's really great. It's awesome. If you have an extra slot in your extra deck, and you can use Dark Strike Fighter, awesome. You know, it's a free 1400 damage to your opponent's face. You can attack. It's 26 attack. It's a good level 7 target if your deck has plenty of space and also synchros. I mean, to be honest though, like, any deck that synchro summons is going to be like synchro-centric. It's going to be synchro heavy. So chances are, like, the slots in the synchro deck they'll all be full. And I just feel like Dark Strike Fighter won't make it in there. I'm surprised it didn't just immediately go to 3. I mean, even if there was like, oh, Dark Strike Fighter Turbo, try to burn your opponent in 1 turn, the card got an errata on the new card text that got released for Dark Strike Fighter in Legendary Collection 5Ds. It clearly states that its effect can only be used once per turn, even if you were to return it to the extra deck and resynchro via like desynchro, or if you were to summon 3 of them in one turn, you wouldn't be able to activate the effect multiple times in that turn. So really, it could go to 3, and it wouldn't even matter. And now for another loopy change that was made. Obviously, Snatch Steal is gonna be at 1. There's been a lot of debate, so much debate about this card. My personal feelings of it is if you can fit a single Snatch Steal and 3 Hidden Armory into a deck, and it doesn't hinder the deck's strategy, you should do it. Because, you know, as Hidden Armory states, mill 1 card from the top of your deck, add an equip spell from your graveyard or your deck to your hand. That's just really, really good. You know, you essentially have 4 Snatch Steals. It's pretty ridiculous. The deck that comes to mind that could pretty easily run it would be, I would say, Burning Abyss. You know, heavier monster count. You love when your monsters get milled to the grave, so Hidden Armory helps to that. And you can just, like, steal your opponent's monsters pretty consistently, you know? You know, taking a Dante and using it yourself and then overlaying into, say, a Downer Magician, it's just a really, really good card. However, is a single Snatch Steal, you know, relevant? Should you play it in every single deck? You know, it's not like game-changing. It's really good. It is a really good card in terms of it can steal a lot of games. However, I don't feel it's necessarily good in every single deck. I personally will be playing it in Mermails. And let me know, are you going to play Snatch Steal in your deck when it is legal, when it goes to 1? I'm interested, actually, in hearing what you guys have to say about this card. Next on to what cards are now at 2. Let me just review the list. Semi-limited. Oh man, Honest. That's gross. You know, it gives Lightsworn more firepower. It gives Boojins. Oh god, I hate Boojins. That deck is so annoying, and to give it 1 more Honest, it's funny because Boojins are really they're really good and really strong, but it's a defend the fortress type deck. You know, you can take Boojins to a local and you know, top it or win that local, but you know, you couldn't take Boojins to a major event like a YCS. So pretty much all that Honest is going to do is it's going to give Boojins and, you know, these rogue decks like Boojins or Lightsworns, it's just going to give it more firepower for, like, locals. You know, even regionals, perhaps, because, you know, Dragon Lightsworn, that's a really, really strong deck. I know you can play Honest in Shaddolls because the most prevalent build right now is the Denko build, which, I mean, Denko is really, really strong right now. But it's just, I don't know if it was ready to come back to 2. We'll see what it does in the format. I'm not sure. If you play a deck that runs Lightsworn, or runs Honest, I mean, are you going to run 2? I mean, I guess there's no reason you wouldn't, but... And then Goyo Guardian went to 2. Once again, it could just go to 3. There's no need for... I mean, it didn't do anything at 1. It's not going to do anything at 2. I'm glad it was at 1, because I enjoyed playing it in Mermails. I loved sinking into it with, you know, a controller and a level 3. It was great. But, I mean, it's a really great card, but it's too slow for the current format. I mean, really good to attack into a Dante, because then you can steal it, but other than that, you know, there's not really too many exceptionally powerful plays you can make with it. And then last, oh look at that, Hieratic Seal of Convocation. I mean, Hieratic's really, really strong, powerful deck, but very combo-based in a way that, very similar to Mermails. You know, you need to put your combo pieces together in more so an accurate order, and then you go off. Whereas, you know, Burning Abyss is just all of the pieces are the right pieces, and you can just summon everything, and it's too consistent. And then Clifford's, it's just It's just very strong. As long as you get Scout on board and you keep plussing 1, you know, there's just the main 3 are very strong. I still cannot believe, I really can't, cannot believe that Konami did that. Didn't ban anything. But if anyone's been watching my videos for a very long time, you know I've poked fun and or yelled at Konami quite a bit over the past, especially about Dragon Rulers. Man, that was a bad format. But yeah, Heraldic Seal of Convocation is now at 2, which is awesome. I mean, Heraldic players will like it. It's a really cool deck. It's a shame that it's not really very good in the current format, but hey, I may make it on DN just to try it out now that Seal is at 2. And last but not least, cards that are now at 3. There are 5 cards that are now at 3. I think I'm going to start with Abyskund, just because that is a card that is played in the deck that I myself run. I'm going to do a lot of tweaks to Mermails for this new format. You know, you still have to beat the big 3 consistently. And that's really what you got to aim for. If you're not going to play one of the big 3, you have to focus all of your attention into trying to play them. Mermail Abyskund, I don't think it will skyrocket Mermails into like, oh, this is like part of the big 3, it's now the big 4. Abyskund at 3 will not do that. However, it will increase consistency in terms of XYZ plays, which is the facet of the deck that is most important. Specifically, Abyss Dweller, summoning that consistently. I run 2 in the build that I'm now testing for the new format. Being able to summon Abyss Dweller to shut down your opponent's grave it's just too fantastic against both Shaddolls and Burning Abyss. Both of those decks are very grave reliant, and that card is just, it's just really good. So Abyskund aids in that. It also allows you to make your, you know, rank 7s and rank 3s a little bit more consistently as well. And I feel as if it has opened the door for allowing pure Mermail builds to exist again. Prior to Abyskund being at 3, when it was at 1, you really needed the Gen X Undyne engine. And now that Abyskund is at 3, you know, I was striving to get rid of the Undyne engine. Now it is much easier. I'm still going to toy with both builds just to see what happens, but I'm 99% sure that I'm going to be playing a pure Mermail build for the current format. Moving on, we got Blackwing, Gale the Whirlwind. Blackwings are just too slow. They're a really fun deck. They're awesome. It's really great that they got their Gale back up to 3. But once again, just the big 3, Blackwings aren't consistent enough, they aren't fast enough to match with Burning Abyss. Yeah, so awesome. Blackwing players, I'm glad you got some more of your cards back, but, you know, try to beat the meta. I wish you the best of luck, pretty much. That's my good blessing to the Blackwing players. Reborn Tengu is now at 3. That's awesome. Not even because Reborn Tengu is necessarily, like, amazing, like the best card ever, but it's really cool that, you know, pretty much the plant deck has all of the elements that it used to have. I'm probably just going to rebuild it purely for nostalgia's sake. I don't expect plants to do anything in the current format, but, you know, that deck has, like, a special place in a lot of people's hearts. And the fact that Reborn Tengu is up to 3, it's so good. Reborn Tengu is just a really consistent card. Back when it first came out, it was amazing. You know, that was probably one of the most attended sneak peeks ever because that was the sneak peek promo card in Ultra Rare. And it shot up to like $10 almost at one point, or maybe even more than that. Just a fantastic card. So I'm really I'm really glad that that's at 3, but, you know, once again, it's not really going to do too much to the meta. What else do we have? Reasoning and the Transmigration Prophecy are both back at 3. Reasoning, one of my favorite cards. I may just have to build a bunch of goofy, weird decks with Reasoning because it's a fun one. It's just a cool card. And then Transmigration Prophecy, you know, there were a lot of decks would play it just to recycle the best cards back into the deck to be able to draw them and play them again, but I mean, that's not even relevant anymore, because if you think about it, the best decks are just so fast that they don't need to set a trap, activate a trap, and then return 2 cards from their grave. It's good in response to things. I mean, it would be good to empty the grave of Burning Abyss monsters, so perhaps it could enter a side deck at some point, but once again, not really going to do too much to this format. I mean, I'm looking forward to play in the new format, but it's really not much of a new format, to be honest. The only reason I'm looking forward to play in the new format is Abyssgund. If you already play one of the big 3, Shadow, Burning Abyss, or Clifford's, congratulations! None of your cards were hit. So, I mean, 3 or 4 more months of the same format, I guess. Which isn't a terrible thing, but I feel as if Konami could have done a lot better to balance the next few months. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please give me your opinions about the new format, what you think that, Snatch Steal is going to do, or if you were going to change your deck based on any of the changes that are on the list. I was going to do a week of art, but I figured I wanted to talk about this just because it's really relevant. I mean, the format's changing, and let's see, tomorrow's Christmas. Merry Christmas, and a happy Christmas Eve to anyone who celebrates. Yeah, it's changing in about 6 days, so it's really relevant to start thinking about what we're going to do for the new format. I'm going to stick with Mermails, as well as I'm going to consistently try to build Burning Abyss. If I can't build Burning Abyss over the next month, I'm just gonna stop, because, I mean, I would hate to finally finish the deck 3 months from now and then have all of the cards banned. That would be awful. So yeah, once again, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate it. If you don't celebrate Christmas, just have a fantastic tomorrow. I mean, it's a beautiful day, or at least it's gonna be out there. I can feel it. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Love life, and have a fantastic day.